What's going on, Sumolings? Thank you so much for joining us for another product walkthrough webinar. I am Lindsay, and today I am joined by the team over at SyncSpider. This is an app-to-app connection tool that helps e-commerce businesses automate sales, marketing, and fulfillment. It is on AppSumo right now, starting at $129 for a lifetime deal. And it currently has a 5 taco rating. Before we dive into the tool, though, I just want to tell y'all a few quick things. The first is that if you want to tell us a little bit about your use case, why you're interested in this tool, you can go ahead and do that in the chat. If you have any questions about the tool, the deal, how to get set up, go ahead and leave those questions in the Q&A box down below this video. We do have Alexander here to answer the questions as they come in, and then we will also be circling to the more popular questions at the end of the walkthrough. And then, so for those of you watching the replay, there is a replay of this available. You can always check it out there. All right, that is enough of me. Hey, Norbert, how are you doing today?
Hey, thanks a lot for having me. I'm really proud to be here and present the tool. So thank you very much. Feeling very good.
We're glad to have you. Also, hello to Jay in Melbourne, Australia. I love it when y'all say hi to me, so you're more than welcome to do that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to you. I'm going to turn off my camera and my mic, but let me know when you're ready to take questions.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Let's get the party started. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about SyncSpider. But first of all, I'd like to introduce myself quickly. My name is Norbert. I'm originally a founder of a digital agency with the focus on e-commerce. And yeah, we built over 150 e-commerce projects so far in the company. And based on all those requests that we got from clients, like can we synchronize the store to this or that, list on Amazon, list on eBay, connect it to the local ERP software, do a product import, do an order export. So a lot of common things that in e-commerce is needed. We decided to build a tool for it because everyone here knows Zapier, of course, a very great tool, app-to-app connector. And the idea is quite similar. It's SyncSpider is like Zapier for e-commerce. And this is why we built it, because we wanted to have a way for web store owners, and of course also app-to-app is possible here, but especially and originally for web store owners to easily allow them connect their e-commerce outlet with nearly everything. Out came SyncSpider, and finally we also discovered a way that it also would be good to include all those SaaS applications out there, and this is where we currently are. Today with me is Alex, who is our COO, and yeah, he is the lady for everything at SyncSpider, managing especially the customer success and helping the support team to give you the right answers and leading the team in that direction, that everything runs smoothly for you. And we are working strong together since I think 4 years now, Alex.
Yeah, that would be 3 years. Great to be here. Thank you, Norbert. Such a great introduction.
Oh yeah, no, it wouldn't go without you. So everything's really great. We're working good together. You will see the rest of the team later on. And I want to start with a very impressive number, namely 5 trillion. 5 trillion US dollars is the prospected e-commerce sales this year. So in 2021, we're expecting 5 trillion in sales online in e-commerce store. And one thing you need to know for that is that only 26% of all retailers are currently online. So there is a lot more that could go online and sell online. And 7 out of 10 of those 26% are currently looking to automate their e-commerce business. Well, this shows us that if you don't sell online, your business goes offline. So every retailer is really should focus on being online finally. It's a very low number, 26% only online. And when we see the massive growth of e-commerce, namely 5 trillion prospected annual revenue global by 2021, 18% growth between 2018 and 2019, and 22% projected percent of growth in 2023. So we really will grow. And there's another number that is important. 95% of all purchases will happen at some point, digital or online, in 2040. This is also a number that is very impressive. And to give you an example, we prepared the use case of Anna as an example what you can do. So let's talk about her. Anna has a WooCommerce store and a local POS software, and she wants to sell on Amazon. What happens if the product gets out of stock, but the same product gets sold on Amazon? Well, she cannot deliver in time anymore, and she has finally a bad review. So how does she get the Amazon order to her fulfillment? Copy paste? Really? Well, with ThinkSpider, it could be so easy. ThinkSpider picks the new order and sends it to the shipping center, or updates the stock when it happens and updates the stock in the POS. So it doesn't need to take care about the management of the entire stuff, do it manually, doing copying, pasting, or implement any kind of plugins, because she can attach any kind of tool that she's using via ThinkSpider to automate the entire process. So easy? Yeah, it is. It's definitely better than copy pasting the stuff all over. And you need to know that there are over 15 million of e-commerce stores outside. And the store owners, they need to deal with the products, the photos, the suppliers, importing, exporting, tools, fulfillment. So there are a lot of combinations, millions of possible combinations, what they could connect with each other. Not only the channels, but also the SaaS applications that are in use, like newsletter providers, CRM software, lead generation software, marketing software, task systems. So everything that has a relevance to an e-commerce business. And then we're talking about billions of possible combinations. And this is why ThinkSpider comes in, to connect all those tools together and allow you to integrate and automate. So with ThinkSpider, store owners, marketers, ERP providers, agencies can integrate and automate all the channels, all the different tools, and a lot of SaaS applications with one simple interface. At the moment, we have round about 150 plus integrations. So since yesterday, there are 160 or so. And of course, we add integrations every week. We have been a bit slow in that, and you maybe have read it, that ThinkSpider integrates slowly, but this is a very important reason. We developed over the 6 months a new method to integrate tools much, much faster. So the entire team really spent their whole power to integrate that engine that we call the external API templates. And those external API templates allow us to use the REST API documentation of a tool to implement it via copy paste the payload examples. So we really can integrate much, much faster now. We're talking about around about 3 new integrations per week that we can deliver. And the team definitely aims for it, but without extending the team now. So just talking with the core team. And we are even aiming to bring it faster, to add 1 integration a day. It can be basic integrations or full deep integrations. When we're talking about webhook integrations, for instance, we can really do that already, to add 1 a day. And this is something that we really focus on. This is the goal, to really bring you a lot of integrations in a short period of time and improve that the tool that we develop, the external API templates every other day, so that we can be even faster, and we even can allow you to use that engine to integrate your tools that are not yet on our list. 2040, as I told you, 95% of all sales will happen in a kind of digital way. It can be an online store, it can be a smartphone, it can be a display at the local POS, but we will not go shopping as we did so far. We will still go into shopping malls, and we will still go into the small stores, but at some point a digital process is in place. And we at ThinkSpider gonna be part of that. And here you see the current team, and you see, and this is what I am personally very proud of it, we have no barrier in the countries that we work with, because the most of the team works remotely. So we have small offices where the people can sit together, but most of the team is working from home, and this even before Corona. We had everyone remotely, or most of the team remotely, and it's really a pleasure. The meetings, we all speak different native languages, and we communicate, of course, everything in English, and it's huge fun with everyone, and with the entire meetings. But you can see here the stuff that we have, and we are so proud now to be on AppSumo. The reason why we went for AppSumo mainly is to grow the user base, because what we want to do is we want to learn from you what you really need. So we would like to work closely with you. If you purchase a coupon and opt in for us, closely with you, see your requests, improve the tool, and do the integrations and automations for you, so that you have a great tool that you can work with, and from there on grow together with SyncSpider. And our claim is better, faster, stronger e-commerce. And now it's enough for the presentation. Let's hop into the tool and give you a quick demo on what I can do with SyncSpider. So let me switch to my browser. First of all, this is the backend of SyncSpider, and today we want to do a product import from a Google Sheet to a WordPress WooCommerce store, and then we will see what the day brings. So first of all, I'm here in the backend, and let's assume that I have an agency account. What is an agency account good for? This is the possibility to add sub-accounts, sub-companies to your account. It's already doable with the Pro plan for AppSumo here, that we had additional company accounts. Agency gives you a bit more on feature set, because you can access the custom integrations. But the sub account feature is very important, because when you have a new client, you simply add it to the system, and this can be done by sorry, because I have a very huge client base here that I support, and you can add a new company just by clicking that button here, and then you're redirected to the company setup. And all you need to do is provide the company name, AppSumo webinar. So this will be the new company. And that stage, you can also upload an image for the company, and you can invite additional people from the company by just providing the email address. You can define if you as an agency gonna pay for it. So we will deduct the volume that goes over that specific account from your limits that you have, or you can decide to let the company pay for that SyncSpider account. In that case, we would open up a regular trial account for SyncSpider for that company and send a regular invite. And of course, there's commission for it. If they pay, you will earn a commission every time they pay. So this is more or less like a bit of an affiliate program or an agency program. We have a lot of agencies as customers that do not want to pay for their customers. This is why we implemented that, so agencies can easily let the customer pay, starting with a trial, setting everything up for them via this interface. So I just want to add this new company, which is already done, and now I'm gonna switch to the AppSumo webinar customer. So when I switch here, I'm gonna be back in that specific account, and I go back to the dashboard. And you see I'm here already logged in, and we have created one project already for this customer based on the name of the customer. What is a project? So actually a project is more or less a folder where you can structure all the tasks for that specific client. So let's say you want to have a project for the product import export, a project for the marketing to do all the lead generation transfers from your, let's say, Facebook ads to newsletter software, from the shop to the CRM. And you can structure that a bit so that you can easily find what you're looking for. We have customers that created projects with the name of the marketplaces they are listing, or with the tools they are using, and all the tasks are set up within those projects. So these projects are related to the customer. If you have another customer, the projects will be completely different. Now, there are two ways to integrate a specific tool. The first option that you have is you go here to integrations, and you see all the integrations that we currently have on file. You can just type to search them. We just lower the results, the search results, and if it's there, you click on it and you do the integration process. If you don't want to do that right away here from the integration screen, which is possible, you can do it when you create your first task. So you can do it also on the fly. And this is the way that I prefer to do it, because I don't need to go extra to the integration screen, start it off there. So what I'm going to do here is I want to create a new task here. And here, from here it starts. This process is always the same. So it doesn't matter if I show you now how to get products from a Google Sheet to a WooCommerce store, or a Facebook lead to MailChimp. It's always the same process. If you know that process, you can set up every task. So the first step is to pick the source integration. I have no integration on file. This is why I have no listing here. If it would have an integration on file, we would state here your existing integrations, and you could pick from that existing integrations, but we have none. So I want to search the first integration that I need, and this is Google Sheets. I will just click here and provide a name. So I will just name it AppSumo Sheets. If you don't know how to set it up and what's next, you just click here on See Instructions, and we redirect you to our knowledge base, where we have described the way how to implement that integration in a written way. We are working on video tutorials as well, so that it makes it more easy for you. This is why we have a bit of space here. We want to introduce the video tutorials directly inline. This will come up as we produce it in the future. So see the integrations, and then just click on next, and then you can add a new Google account. Just click that and you go to pop-up. You will verify that my account seems already to be integrated. I'm not sure if it's the right one. Could be that I need to newly integrate it as it is a fresh account, but everything looks good. So I have now integrated already with Google Sheets, and here we have the entities. So if there are different entities, you will see in the next step what that is exactly you could choose from. Google Sheets just had the entity spreadsheet, because there's the only way and the only thing that we can get from Google Sheets. So let me go next to the next step, and here we pick the target integration. So first we have told SyncSpider where we want to get the data from, and now we tell SyncSpider to where we want to send the data to. And this is WooCommerce in this case. So WooCommerce, searching for it and just clicking the button. Again, here you can go to the instructions, and here we will add the AppSumo store and click the next button. Now, SyncSpider asks us a few things. First of all, we need to provide the story consumer key and consumer secret. We will create that in a minute. But we also provide you a plugin to download. Actually, for a basic integration with WooCommerce, you don't need that plugin. But with this plugin, you are extending the functionality of WooCommerce. So we allow you also to fill up meta fields. So if you have any kind of specific meta fields that you want to use, you can use that plugin. It's the same plugin as we have for WordPress. If you want to send data to WordPress, like users, posts, custom post types, it's the same plugin, and it just gives us the option to add meter fields and set specific kind of attributes that typically are not visible in WooCommerce by default. So, and we have such plugins for different kind of stores or different kind of tools, and you can install them, but most time it's not needed if you just want to do basic stuff. But the extended stuff, there you can install the plugin. So now in that case, I want to jump to my WooCommerce store. I will go to the dashboard in the backend, and in WooCommerce, of course, there are things you need to know, but we have described then everything in the knowledge base. You need to go to settings, advanced, and here we will set the REST API. We will just activate it, add a new key. This key is called Sync Spider AppSumo, just for reference. And here's the user, and we will grant a read and write access and generate the key. Now I have consumer key and secret, and I have the URL. So I just copy the URL without WP admin, so just the URL. I will copy that URL here. I will copy that key here. I will copy the secret, and then I click on finish. And of course, it's HTTP, so we give you a warning. You should HTTPS instead, but this actual test project doesn't have an SSL certificate, so we go with HTTP, and we just press here finish, and now the integration is done and the store is connected. So, and here it comes to what do we want to send? We call this drop down here the entities. So what we can send to WooCommerce is the products, the orders, or order statuses. In our case, we want to send products. So we select it, and we're ready to go with the next step. If you want to send to multiple targets, so if you don't just have the WooCommerce store, but maybe even Amazon or eBay or any other target or the CRM or a local POS or whatever you want to need, you can add an additional target here by just clicking this plus button, and you will get a next select integration screen. So you just can select another tool here and do the integration. Let me press next to get forward. We just want to send the products to WooCommerce. And now SyncSpider asks me to configure the source. So every first step after you picked all the integrations you want to use for that, you have a source configuration for every source that you have. And in this case, we're just picking the sheet that we want to use. So I just press here the search bubble. And now I know it's in my drive. And we are pulling that in real time, so it can take a bit. And you have the import task that we want to use. And here is the sheet that I created for the import. So let's check the sheet first. What I did here is I created just a small sheet where I provide the SKU, a parent SKU, explain you later what such parent SKU can do for you, the name, the description, a size, price, stock level, the collection or category, and an image that we want to import. So this sheet is read out from SyncSpider, and you now have all the fields here. And you can even define a few further steps. So you can define what to do with that file after we finished the task. So in this case, we do nothing, because we could use the Google Sheet to fill it further on and automatically import every new product that you add to the sheet to the WooCommerce store. So we do nothing. You just open that sheet, you fill new products, we pull the new products to WooCommerce. But we could also, if it's needed, delete the file, rename the file, move the file, or move and rename the file. So you can build an archive and just upload new files to the Google Sheet, or create new Google Sheets with the same pattern and the same name. And after we imported the products, we just put it to the archive folder, rename it there, put a timestamp there. So this is what should we do after the task finished. Now we also have the option to now replace records. So we send the entire file to the target, or we can update records. Update records means that you pick one unique identifier, which is typically an SKU for a product or an email for a newsletter system or what else. And with update records, we will monitor the source, and we just reflect the changes of the source to the target. So we will keep a copy of the spreadsheet that you sent today, and the next spreadsheet that you send will be compared to the spreadsheet that we got. And just the different records will be sent to the target, which saves you a lot of operations, and it saves you a lot of time for the syncing, because we don't need to send too much API calls to the target. In this case, we fill up the store completely from fresh, and so we say replace records. Also, you can decide how the column behavior is. So if we monitor an invalid column, what should SyncSpider do? Should we skip the entire row or just unset the value? Because it also could be that there are values that are obligation and some that are not. And if a non-obligatory field is wrong, then we just unset the value and send the rest. So it's your decision how to proceed from there. Now we have different options here for the columns. You can mainly keep everything as a text type, but you have the option to change the type of column as well. In this case, we're gonna change the type for image, because we know that here is an image, so we want to change it to image. If we do that, we have additional configuration options. First of all is SyncSpider can monitor different kind of data sources for the image. In this case, I check my file quickly, we have a full URL for the image. So this is the easiest way, full URL for the image, and then we could use that option here. But we could also use an option, so let's say in your file, you just provide the name of an image and the URL path is missing. Then you choose this and just add the URL path that is missing, and we add the image name to it so we can download it. We also can provide the files on a folder. So you could upload your files to the Google Drive folder and just change the directory where we pull the images from. And also you can have the images hosted on a separate FTP or SFTP server. Then you just provide the credentials for this server and the path to the images, and we pull the images from there. It's FTP or SFTP that we allow, so you can easily use any kind of host to host your images. And we also provide you with a host. Just pick the CSV file integration and SFTP by SyncSpider, and then we give you an SFTP account where you can upload the images upfront. So also a way. In this case, but I said we have full URL. What you could do as well is you can send more than one image. So in this case, you just say this column contains multiple values. So you can add a separator and how you separated that specific column, and then we will treat it as additional product image, and you can map it and we will fulfill it. In this case, we just have one image. So, and this is it mainly. If you use the CSV file integration, you have additional options down here that you can use to merge files, make some mathematics, and add formulas. You can concatenate for different kind. You can build collections, but this is more skill. This is a very basic walkthrough that we're going to do, and we have really very skilled options here to manipulate the files that you send on the fly. Then we have here a filter. So between the source and the target configurations, we give you always the possibility to filter. And we give you the possibility to pick from every column that we send here. So you could say, just provide me the products that have a parent SKU equals to 1,000 or greater than 1,000 if it's a number, or what else you're gonna need. So you can filter everything out here. You can add different filters to really close down the products that you need. We had some use case questions already in the thread, like, can I send a product from Shopify with a specific tag to a WooCommerce store? Yes, you can, because you can filter that. And this is very important, working here with different kind of filters to make it perfect. Also for testing, it's good if you have a very huge file with a lot of information and you want to send it somewhere, you can filter down to a specific column or a specific attribute from the source to make your test runs and not always send the entire file. Now we're going to go next. And this is always the target configuration. And it's always different. it depends on the target. So you will have different options for you WooCommerce and for Magento and for Shopify and for MailChimp and for Fresh Sales and for Salesforce and for HubSpot and for MailerLite and for every other tool. This screen is different. It carries all the attributes that are important to know when we send the data to the target. For WooCommerce in this case, we can choose the unique identifier, and in our case, we will choose SKU, which is pre-selected, but you could also choose the product ID, which is the database ID of WooCommerce, or the name. We are also aiming to extend such unique identifiers. So if there are coming new options, we will add them here. And you have other unique identifiers. And also you can choose the batch size. How many products do we send in one batch to WooCommerce? This is important because of the performance. If you have a cheap host, you might want to lower those batch sizes to 5 or 10 or even 1 if it's very slow or cheap. If it's a bigger host or a VPS or a better solution, you can higher this batch size so that the integration, the API will not break the upload. 50 is a good average size that we kind of send. As I said, if it's a very very cheap host, you should lower that a bit. It will just take a bit longer to send the products because we need more API calls. Also, we can define things like, do we want to create parent product automatically? So configurable products like variations, do we want to send them and create the variations on the fly? Yes or no? Do we want to update only mapped attributes? So we could update only attributes that are unmapped and delete values if they're not mapped. Only update products. So we don't send new products, we just update them. So that's all the different things that you kind of said. Everything is written down here. You just need to read it. And then the last step of a configuration, or not the last step, the most important step here is the mapping screen. So in the mapping screen, this is the heart of SyncSpider. This is where all the magic happens. And here you have the left-hand side where you see all the attributes that are coming from the source, and you see all the attributes that are available in the target. So in this case, we see all the fields here for WooCommerce, and here all the fields from our Google Sheet. And all we need to do is drag and drop. So SKU is here. We have an SKU here, and we're going to map SKU to SKU. This is a pretty one. Okay, very easy. The name is also easy. We have it here. We map it here. Description we have here 2 times, short description. So I just have description. I'm gonna map it with short description because I don't have a long text in my file. Doesn't make sense. So I put it here. So the names need not be the same, of course. It can't be anything here. Here, by luck, I named everything the right way because I knew what I did. But typically you get a file from a supplier, or the source have a different name for something, like instead of SKU, you can have an ID or an EAN code or an GTIN code or whatever you could have for the SKU, and you just provide it here and do the mapping. Now we have categories, and this is some example for it. So we have here collection and here categories. I'm gonna map this, and now really something special happens because categories are a special field in WooCommerce. They can build out a hierarchy, so a product tree. And in this case, we give you an so-called inner mapping. With an inner mapping, you can define if in the source a specific word or a specific option is used, then map it in the target to that specific category. We don't have categories here in that WooCommerce store at the moment because it's completely blank. We don't have anything, so we don't show you the additional categories here. But if you had more categories, you would see them all here. You could then do an inner search, and you could say, let's map t-shirts to gray t-shirts, or t-shirts to apparel, or whatever you want to need. You can map it here by just pressing the plus button. And what else we can do here is to see an action, set a default action for non-mapped values. So if we have nothing mapped down here, we can say to SyncSpider, come on, let's map everything automatically. And if you don't see it in the target, create the them dynamically. So we will also create the categories directly in the target here with just that setting. We can have a path separator to know if it's a subcategory, sub, and we can also give multiple values. So if you have more than one category to assign, you can again here set the inner column separator to set this up. In this case, map automatically is enough. We're gonna need to do nothing else. And we're gonna map the main image here, what we have. You can also use the search to lower down results. In this case, I know that WooCommerce also wants us to set the status. So I'm searching for status here, and we lower the results. And I see here, okay, we have here already a status. And in the target, we don't, in the source, we don't see a status. And this is why we introduced a constant value, which is always available in the mapping screen. It doesn't matter what the source has. We always give you a constant value. And if you don't have it in the source, you can use that constant value for the mapping, what we do here. And we then just pull the possible options from the target and you can set it here. So in this case, we want to set all the products to publish. Also, what we need is the visibility. So we map that here. Shop and search results. Then we need a price. And here is the regular price. I'm gonna map that one. And here we have a number. So SyncSpider wants to know how the numbers are formatted in the source. And we have a period and no those in the separator. Okay, here we go. Then we have a stock that we want to map. So I said here manage stock. Yes, it's true. And the stock quantity is here in that field. And also here we have a number. We put it empty for the thousand separator. Then if this is mapped, in stock is not needed because we do it automatically. We know that it is on stock because it has stock. And last but not least, we have configurable products here. So I want to make the size. And all I needed to do to get this extra size field is in WooCommerce to add an attribute called size. You see here, the attribute is created. And I don't configure any kind of terms. So there is no SML, XL size term here. We will also create that on the fly. And also you can see here that there are no products yet in the store and no categories set up. Instead, the default uncategorized category. Now, for size, we're gonna map here as well. Size, and we will also create it dynamically or map it if we have it. And for front end view, we set up the visibility on the front end. And also we're gonna use that for a variation. So we answer that with yes, we use that for a variation. And now let us see quickly how this is gonna look like. We have, I think, everything for the image. Visibility and status is here, regular price, stock is here. You can map a lot of fields. So there's really many things you could map, but this is enough for really running the synchronization. If you want to be sure and check something out, you can easily click here on preview values to see a preview what we're gonna pick from the source and send to the target, but ignore that step here. And then we come to the last step. This is giving the task a name. You can also do it always here while you're setting it up. So even in the first step, you can give the task a name, but I will do it here now. So this is my spreadsheet products to WooCommerce. We have a default task description based on the integrations you used that we write here, but you can change that, of course, and type in your description so you better can identify what a task is doing without entering it. Then you can choose the trigger. In this case, I'm gonna schedule the task and it should repeat every hour. But you could also use an event to trigger that task. But in this case, schedule is fine. Now here I'm gonna activate the task. And here you can set up the email notifications. So from every user that is within your account, you can trigger an email notification when the task succeeds and also when the task fails. Succeeds makes sense at the beginning when you want to be sure that the task really worked well, but you should remove you later on because then you get every time I name it and an email and you get it, a bit stressed when you have so many emails. And for failed task, you can also get an email, and then we give you a link to the execution log, and you see why the task is failed. You can modify, let's say, credentials if they're changing, or attributes are changing, or file types are changing, and we give you that information. You can change it and rerun it, but you know when something fails if you just pick your user of the account. And now we are done. I click on finish, and you see the task is already running because I activated and started it. And we can access the running task by just clicking here the bubble, and we see what's gonna happen. So we pulled already the spreadsheet. We got 5 valid rows here. We transformed everything for the WooCommerce. We exported 5 items, everything nice. Now we gonna check the store and see what happened here. Let's refresh just the page here for the categories, and boom, we have 2 new categories here, sample product and t-shirts. Now let's check the attributes, and boom, we have the terms here. We have different sizes in our size, and now check the products, and voila, we have the products here. But what happens? These are all simple products, and we don't want to have that. We want to have a selection. So when I now open that specific product here in the front end, I don't have a selection for the size. So I made a mistake while mapping. I didn't provide SyncSpider enough information to create variations. There is something more needed. And in this case, it's the parent SKU. We forgot to map it. So what I'm going to do now is I just want to delete this products quickly. And I also will remove it from the trash and go back to SyncSpider. The execution log is fine, and from here I can access the task again, or I can go back to the projects and just click on the task to access it again. All I need to do is, because everything is set up, I click on the mapping screen quickly, come here, and I know that I need to map the parent UID, which is also here. I will search for it. Okay, here it is. Quick one. Add this parent UID. What does the parent UID? It tells the store. Oh, sorry, just need to find the right one here. It tells the store which products belong together, so they have the same identifier, and we know now, okay, these products belong together, and we need to build variations out of it. Goes, by the way, the same thing if you just transfer products from Shopify to WooCommerce, or from Magento to WooCommerce, or from WooCommerce to Shopify, or from WooCommerce to Amazon. Doesn't matter. We always have this kind of pattern, and we can read out the parent SKU based on the source system. So again, let me go to next. We mapped something newly, so I need to enable the task again. Click on finish, and now we have the play button here. And if I don't want to wait for an hour to get the task started, and this is also unique, you can start it anytime. You just press the play button, and here goes the party. So again, we are connecting to the spreadsheet now. You see it now in real time, what's happening. So we are connecting to the spreadsheet. We're gonna get all the data, verified that these are valid rows. So we find out that there are 5 rows, all the rows are valid, and carry the information that we expect. And now we are validating the store. So the WooCommerce store, we are knocking on the API in WooCommerce and ask if we can access. And if this is the case, we get a reply from WooCommerce that this is okay. And the next step is now, when this happened, to verify and prepare the data. So we are now transforming all the data that we got from the spreadsheet. After transformation, we are starting and creating the categories. If there are not yet some, then we will say there are no new categories, and then we are processing the data. And you see here now that we had 5 in the source, but 6 on the target. And now let me refresh my screen for the products. I deleted all the products, and you see here that on the published, we have 2 products now, namely a regular product, this one, and a variation product. And now if we access the website and visit it and go to the store, we have those 2 products here. First of all, the simple product, the mug, that we can add to the cart. And of course, now we have our variation product with all the variations inside. So this is why we had 6, because we created the original product that carries the variations. 4 variations plus the simple product is 6. And from here you can choose the different sizes. And there's one difference that I implemented here, namely the XL shirt costs a bit more than the other shirts. And here I can choose XL, and you will see here also the price is changing. Now, this was a simple task. You can always go here and see what the tasks did by accessing our execution log, just clicking on that icon here, and you can see all the tasks that we did. You can access again the execution log and see what's going on here. And we keep that execution log for 14 days. And you can always go back and check what went on the task. Okay, and well, actually, this is it. This is SyncSpider, how it works for every other tool. So I said a lot of different integrations, and this was an e-commerce use case, of course. This is my specialty to do e-commerce, but we have a lot of different tools that you need for your daily use case. Different tools that you have seen on AppSumo, that you have seen and heavily used in the SaaS world, like MailChimp, like Freshdesk, Fresh Sales, Facebook leads, Platformly. So there's really a lot of things you might be interested in, and just add it. All those tools that we have are seen on syncspider.com by just clicking on integrations. And here you can find your preferred tools. And let's say you want to do something with intercom. And on the other hand, you want to do something with Feedly. Then you just select both of them, and we show you what you can do with this integration at the moment. We give you a few options here, and you can search through the entire database, which is updated frequently. And yeah, and I would say we make a pause here for some questions. And if we have time, I show you quickly how we add a new integration to SyncSpider.
Definitely. So we don't have a ton of questions here. Alexander's been kind of killing it, getting all the answers to the sumo lings. This one just came in. Do you have a super tutorial and help area to learn all this terminology? It'll take some getting used to.
Yes, absolutely. It's help.syncspider.com. This is our help database where we have all the different categories and a lot of articles. So we have here 113 articles, 1723, and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of articles inside our knowledge base. And for every integration, as soon as you add it to the screen, we give you see instructions here so you can see the basic instruction how to integrate that specific tool.
Wonderful. All right. So questions that have been answered. But in case people have these questions also, I really need to integrate with a couple APIs. Can I do it?
Yes, you can. This is one unique thing about SyncSpider. So in the Pro plans, we give you already two very important integrations. First of all, it's the webhooks. So please opt in the beta version of the new webhooks module. Very important. This one is outdated, but still active because a few users have it in place. This new one where beta is included is the one that is very powerful and extensive, and you should use that one for new integrations that are based on webhooks. But we also give you the external API integration, and this can connect to any kind of REST API. I just quickly pop it up to see, to give the most advanced users here that have a bit of development skills an idea of what it can do. So let's call it my sample API tool and click on the next button. And here you can choose the type what you want to do. So it can be a JSON and XYY or a CSV type integration combined to REST. I would just pick JSON. You provide the base URL, you provide the required authentication for the REST, and we have already a basic authorization, OAuth2 API key other or OAuth2 template. And you can also use custom headers if you need them for calling that specific API. And exactly this is the way how we do it for the integrations that we build for our customers using the external API, but we are using the feature that is just available for agency plan users, namely custom integration templates. So you cannot even use that integration on your account. You can make it public, or you can share the integration across different sub companies, and it will really be a native integration that is shared with the users when it's set to public. And this is why we just provide it to agencies. And it's a bit more skilled because you can also build workflows based on the API. You can manipulate data during a workflow, and you can do a lot of things, even for the webhooks. I can show you maybe later. So, and if it's done and you set all the parameters, you click on finish. And then when you set up the task, you just go to the API of that specific tool, to the API documentation, you copy the payload from there, paste it into SyncSpider, and we will parse all the fields for the mapping screen. And boom, you are done. You have built your own integration. Used that tool several times already for custom integrations, and it's really powerful, but you need a bit of a development skill here to do that. Maybe also because API was mentioned, and I think it's also important to know that. Just give me a second. I need to open up a remote desktop application quickly to show you that. So what we have for SyncSpider, and this is very unique, is our Windows application. So in SyncSpider, we can even give you a Windows software that is able to connect to any kind of database. So you can build a new profile and select the type of database that you want to connect with, let's say a fiber database, and you provide the credentials for it. And after you did it and you are connected to the database, you can build your own entities here. You just create a new entity, and you have the possibility to select from all the database table. You can even define dependencies to different tables. And with that, you can make your own API integration from a local Windows database to a web application. We have that very often in e-commerce, that retailers are working with a local POS software that has no API, and using that mechanism, you can send directly from the database to your stores via SyncSpider, or to a newsletter software, but because a lot of things are locally. Or you can even connect, like, let's say, a very small Dropbox. You can even connect our Windows SFTP connection and create a local file storage on Windows. And every time you put a file into that folder, we're gonna upload it automatically to SyncSpider, process it there, and send it to the target as an integration, and even download files from this storage to your local machine so you can fulfill it there, which is often needed for ERP software that is able to export or import CSV files already with products or as customers, whatever you need.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. This question just came in. Would this be a replacement for, say, the WooCommerce multi-store that syncs inventory between WooCommerce stores?
You're talking to the right one here, because I love WooCommerce. I did a lot of things with it. Actually, I did not use it for multi-store so far. I have one client that has a local ERP software, and at the moment 5 Magento stores, 3 WooCommerce stores, and is listening on one WooCommerce multi-vendor store. And this is all done through SyncSpider, while the source is only the one ERP, and based on specific filters, we're sending and updating the stock in the different channels, which are also different tools. So yes, actually, this is definitely something you could do. You could also do a combined order import back to your target store. So let's say you have one WooCommerce store that you use as a source with all the entities, products, tags, and whatever you need. You could send the products out to the other child stores, which can be completely different, and send back the data to your store, update the order status back then. What we're gonna do in the future is, of course, we bring new features and extend that, and maybe there will, it's already planned, something that we will call the data hub. This is something that we want to introduce once it's already in the planning phase, but we have no concrete plans for it when to do it. But we will provide something where you can also store specific kind of data information right within SyncSpider to maintain and sync data outside. But this is really long future. Anyway, syncing between those tools, yes, absolutely possible. We need quite some tasks for it.
Cool. All right, so this question is technically for me. Will wants to know if there's 1-minute walkthroughs for each tool to help the users get going. I will not be creating any walkthroughs for anything.
Yeah.
But what do you guys got?
Yeah, so we're working already on, we did already a few pilot video tutorials for exactly that. We have already decided who will do that, and we are already planning them. So we are about to start the production of short video walkthroughs, and you will always find the video walkthrough here in that blank space here, or with a video button, a small video button where you click on it, get a light box with the video tutorial for that specific use case. And we also have a YouTube channel, and we will upload all them to the YouTube channel so you can browse through them. At the moment, we don't have so much of those video tutorials, but we're really working on them and get new video tutorials on the run for every integration, for different use cases, for different concepts that we have in SyncSpider to make things work best for you.
As the person behind the video team at AppSumo that like does all the product videos, it is a lot of work to make all of them. A lot. It takes a long time. And if I remember correctly, you have quite a few integrations that you would have.
Yes.
To I think that's about as many videos that as we created last year. So if it took you a full year, I'd be like, yeah, that checks out.
This will take a while, absolutely. And one thing that I really again want to mention here, I mentioned it at the beginning, we might seem or might look a bit to be a bit slow in progressing something. So a bit slow in integrating. We are here since 4 years and have 150 integrations. Not 4 years, but 3.5 years, and we had a lot of planning phase and a lot of deep integrations that we did for e-commerce that take much longer than a regular integration. And as we did for SyncSpider itself to reinvent the wheel how we could do an integration, I know it from other tools, they need to, or they require to code a plugin to make an integration to their SaaS software. We try to first think about how can we do that faster? How can we improve that? And then we start to develop that way. And as soon as we have it, we're gonna be pretty fast. We did this for the filters, which are not dependent on an integration anymore. The filters are just in the core system, and every integration has it. We don't need to code a filter for every new integration that we do because we just have it in the core. And we did it for webhooks to create templates, and we did it for the external API to make integrations faster. And we also do it for the videos now. So as we speak, the team that is assigned to do that is planning out how to produce those video tutorials in a fast way. So when we start with that, you will get pretty fast those tutorials because we always have a pattern assigned how to do it. And this is the approach that we have in SyncSpider. Think first, take your time to really analyze something, and then proceed and do it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. I definitely appreciate taking your time, and things take sometimes longer than anticipated.
Yeah.
That definitely happens, and it probably doesn't help that there's so much to do. Will says, "Do what you can, guys. No rush." All right, Sumolings, if you have any more questions, you can leave those here now. Is there anything else that you guys want to show us?
Well, we could do a quick integration, but we can also make, if you want, a second webinar in the next 2 weeks, where we really announce a skilled webinar where we do some kind of development things. So this is a bit on you. If the Sumo links want to see quickly a webhook integration with Albacross, for instance, I can show that up and make a template for Albacross, which would be a new integration for us. Will take around about 10 minutes. Just tell me if you want that and we do it. Otherwise, we can do another webinar or whatever you want.
Sumolings, let us know. This is your time. You could drop it in the chat room. You can put this anywhere you want. You want to do a little, I don't know, there's no like thumbs up option for you guys. You guys have to actually type things. Michael says sure.
Sure, so he has time. That's great. Yeah, let's do it. So here we go to the custom integrations. This is what we and the team here see and what the pro users currently see, but it's mainly for agencies. And here I see all the integrations that we built so far. One thing that I quickly need to do is I need to switch back to my account here in the master. This is something I don't want to set up in the AppSumo test account because I want to share it public later on already. So just give me a second to go back here. Okay, LM Pro, and again, I go to the custom integrations. Okay. Now I will, because I have prepared it already, Albacross. I prepared already this integration. I will quickly here hop in to show you what's happening. So when you add a new custom template integration, you see exactly this screen here. So we give an integration a name. We can write a small description for that specific integration. So like say, send all your new leads from Albacross to your target integration. I think Albacross is also a previous AppSumo deal, as far as I know. Yeah, maybe. Pretty sure. And here you can define who should see that integration. So in this case, it was set to my company only, but I will share it with public. So this integration, as soon as we have done it, will be live. And this will be an external API integration with the picture here, the logo, which will appear in the screen later on. So now we are in the custom integration screen. What we need to define here is, first of all, the connection configuration. In this case, I can set how we're gonna integrate with Albacross. In this case, we have a webhook integration because Albacross has no API. I cannot pull data. We rely on a webhook, so I choose webhook here. But I could also, if it's a REST API, I would say integration, and then I need to provide a lot of more data here, like the base URL, what we have seen in external API actually. So also here I provide everything that is needed. Well, this is a webhook integration, and here I can create additional information about this integration. So I can provide information where to find the API, within Albacross, how to connect it and what to do. And I click on done. And mainly this is it. I add a new data type, which is leads. And if I go in here, I can define what I'm gonna wanna do. And this is import data to SyncSpider. If it is an API integration, I could also upload the payload here. So we parse the fields. I can make a workflow. So with that integration, I can make a workflow that if I got the data in, namely from leads, I want to perform a specific action like modify the schema, make an incremental import because I don't want to see what I can change the payload handler. I can make custom fields. So I can do quite a lot of workflows, and I don't need to do, or I can not just do one workflow, I can different workflows. And those workflows are triggered after each other after I got the data before we send it to the target. What I do now here is I will enable that integration. We did not have Albatross before in SyncSpider. It's completely new integration, and it's the first time that we will have that integration live publicly in our integrations. So now when I go even to the AppSumo, or just let me check one thing, if it's really set to public and if it's published. Forgot about that because I need to check that. Albatross. Yeah, it's public and it's public pending. So if you submit a public integration, for instance, we will get it in as public pending, and I can then publish it to our integrations. And now it's live for everyone here on SyncSpider. Now let me switch back to the webinar customer that we created when we started that walkthrough. Go back and create a new task. Here we go. So what I'm gonna do is I create a new task here. I will pick this new integration Albatross that we just added. So you will find it here. And now we have Albatross and click next. Typically you find the description here because we did not enter any kind of description how you get to how you can set up that. I know it, so I will show it quickly. I will add it later after our webinar, just to have that I have the time. So let's go to Albatross here, and let me just log in to my Albatross account. And now in that account, we want to set a new workflow. In this new workflow, we create new workflow, namely a webhook. And the webhook name is called SyncSpider AppSumo webinar. And I just pick from SyncSpider the URL that we provide here, paste it here. And we set here to capture the webhook. So we are waiting for a webhook here. And we want to export new leads, and we can even search for a segment, namely, let's say all leads, new leads, or provide any other segment. We can pick that here. So I will check here, new leads. Every time a new lead appears in Albatross, we can send it over to the target. Just hit the save button. And now I do a quick action and send the example. And now we are waiting for that example here in SyncSpider. And here it is. So this is the webhook that we got. And now we just click on finish. And we can go to the next step. I will set here, let's say, the Google Sheet again that we had as the target. And I set next. I could filter by everything as said, what we get from Albatross here, because this is already the default filter. So I could filter, let's say, for country. If you have a CRM, you can filter for the country and send just the leads from your country and assign it to, let's say, your sales team. Now I can get and grab a new Google Sheet. I will pick here my Google Sheet that I prepared for AppSumo already. So we will write some additional data there. Import sample task. So, okay, here we go. And we pick that sheet here, select. And I can now add columns here. What I'm gonna do, so I want to add a new column with the lead and the name and whatever. So just here, let's say name and email and phone is what I'm gonna have. We can override the file each time. We can expand the file each time. I said if we would connect MailChimp, we would send the data right away. And here is the mapping screen again. All the fields that we got from source, all the mapping that we need to do now. And then it's the same process as before, set up the task and boom, you have done the new integration, sending the leads from Albacross directly to your Google Sheet. That's it. Any further questions?
All right, Sumolings, if you have anything else that you would like to know, send those questions in now. Thank you for showing us that. Count me in for DFY gigs.
Whatever the FY wings. Done for you. Done for you. Got it. Great. Lovely.
All right, we can go ahead and wrap this up then. Thank you so much for walking us through. Thank you, Alexander, for answering all of the questions behind the scenes. Sumolings, if you have not already, you can go ahead and redeem your code for SingSpider. It is starting at $100 for a lifetime deal. And please, once you've done that, leave your reviews on the deal page. We do love to read it. And of course, you can always leave your questions there as well. Thank you guys so much. It's been fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Really happy. Bye.
Bye.